The Department of Homeland Security announced it's moving forward with plans to use military funds in order to build border barriers in sections of Arizona and New Mexico, triggering reactions from both environmental groups and Arizona lawmakers. Cronkite News reporter Haddi Meyer tells us more about what this could look like in our state.
11 miles near Yuma, Arizona are included in the waivers issued by the Department of Homeland Security, circumventing environmental laws in place in order to build and replace barriers in that area. The decision sparking outrage from conservation groups like the Center for Biological Diversity, which has sued the Trump administration over the emergency declaration to fund border walls.
The Trump administration has just cast aside the most important environmental laws in our nation's history with the stroke of a pen. Borderlands residents and the wildlife that live here are now no longer protected by fundamental laws like the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, and the Endangered Species Act.
In the waivers filed, DHS identifies the Yuma sector as, quote, an area of high illegal entry. In fiscal year 2018 alone, it states the United States Border Patrol apprehended over 26,000 illegal aliens in the Yuma sector. The document also says the existing barriers will be replaced with an 18 to 30-foot barrier that employs a more operationally effective design that is intended to meet Border Patrol's operational requirements, end quote. The barriers are being funded by the Department of Defense following President Trump's emergency declaration in February. For his part, Representative Raul Grijalva put out a statement saying in part, quote, the Trump administration consistently stoops to new lows when it comes to building the president's vanity wall, even if it endangers the public health of our communities in the environment we call home. By waiving landmark environmental laws like the Clean Air Act, the National Environmental Policy Act, and the Endangered Species Act, President Trump is sending a clear message to border residents. His political agenda is more important than their homes, health, and livelihoods, end quote.
Unfortunately, it's really become the norm that Borderlands residents and the wildlife here watch their rights evaporate overnight in order to rush construction of a completely unnecessary, utterly senseless border wall.
In Phoenix, Haddi Meyer, Cronkite News.
Last month, the federal government announced it awarded contracts of nearly $1 billion to replace short barriers with tall fences in certain areas.
The southern border has seen an influx of immigrants over the last several months, and officials say they expect to make up to 1 million arrests by the end of this year.